Good afternoon, everyone. Inside the 9 on Your Side studio, I'm Ken Watling with an update on Tropical System Florence as it continues to impact our area. NC Emergency Management releasing new numbers on statewide power outages. Those total numbers of outages as of 4:30 is now over 700,000. The highest concentration of those outages reported in New Hanover, Brunswick, Carteret, Cumberland, Onslow, Pender, and Robeson counties. For updates on power outages in your area, go to ncdps.gov/Florence. Some updates now out of Carteret County. County officials there announcing today that emergency responders have performed 81 rescue missions in Newport alone as their operations continue. The Area Transportation Center has transported 140 citizens to inland shelters. Currently, there are 6 operations teams performing rescues within Newport and South Rivers. Down trees and power lines, challenging those efforts. There are several roads closed due to flooding and down trees. Power outages also a problem for much of the county. The county saying power could be out for a significant number of days. The county still enforcing a curfew from dusk until dawn. Governor Roy Cooper and other emergency response officials gave us another update on Florence in a news briefing about 90 minutes ago. Officials are currently engaged in rescue operations as areas of the state continue to experience widespread flooding. They're warning that the flooding is only going to get worse as those rescue operations are underway.
Don't make yourself someone who needs to be rescued. We told you this morning that roads are getting dangerous and worse with every passing minute. That has come true with a vengeance over the last few hours.
And we'll hear more from the governor coming up after LSU and Auburn on WNCT 9 on Your Side. Right now, let's get a check of the forecast and the latest on what's left of Florence from Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson, who's standing by in the Weather Center. Hi, Jerry.
Good afternoon, Ken. Of course, we continue to track this pesky and rather slow-moving system as the center is now well to our south across South Carolina. But as we've been saying just time and time again, it is so large, we continue to deal with those outermost rain bands here. Let's take a look at the latest radar imagery. And again, this doesn't look too much different on the broad view than it did even late last night. But as you look, you can definitely see the center is making inland progress, beginning to close in on Columbia. But as it does so, it just continues to fan out. So these heavy batches of rain continue to feed into southeastern North Carolina. So eventually we're going to see the shield begin to slide off a little more generally towards the west as the system continues to move along. Eventually it's going to get picked up by an incoming trough that should finally accelerate it a little bit more to the north and east with time here. But until then, there is still potential for a few batches of heavy rain. Now, one thing that's key to understand is the maximum wind field continues to decrease in intensity here. So it's just a tropical storm right now. So we're not seeing, widespread 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts, nothing like that out there. The winds continue to ease, but there will still be squalls and gusts where you could get a quick gust over 40, 45, maybe even 50 miles an hour, especially closer to our southern coastal counties. So again, it's just not safe to be out traveling at all until we can get this system completely off to the west. As we move into the second half of the weekend and into early next week, it begins to wrap up to the north. But remember, it is a broad area of circulation, so it will continue to fan these bands of rain and a few squalls into eastern North Carolina, at least through tonight and possibly into part of the day on Sunday. And there's at least a narrow window of opportunity, Ken, for a few isolated tornadoes, little quick spin-ups that we sometimes see. But rain is going to be the biggest issue. Widespread 20 to possibly 30 inches of storm total rain. In some pockets would not be surprising to wind up with 30 to 35 inches storm total by the time the system finally clears out. Then we turn our attention to the rise in the river levels, of course, over the coming days and even weeks. We'll have more on those river updates after the game, Ken.
All right, Jerry, thank you so much. And we'll have another news update coming up at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. We will be pushing that out on the WNCT 9 on Your Side Facebook page. And as Jerry mentioned, full coverage of the storm on air on 9 on Your Side coming up following Auburn and LSU. Back to the second half of the game after this.